Hey Wildcat fans, Mackenzie Hamilton here, and Coach Brian Billick and Coach Mike Smith are in the building, so you know we had to grab them to ask a couple questions. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah, fantastic. Having a great time.
Now, yesterday, the team watched the new 30 for 30 on the 2000 Ravens team, Bullies of Baltimore, and then they had the pleasure of hearing you speak after, Coach.
There's no magic play call. It's a matter of, are you buying in? Do you understand your responsibility? And then can you take it onto the football field?
There was so much knowledge provided last night to the team, but if you could pick one nugget of advice for them to carry into the 2023 season, what would that be?
Well, that was a very special team and relates in many ways because it was unexpected. We were a team that going in, I think we were picked 5th in a 6-team division. That's back when the AFC divisions there were just 3 of them in the AFC West, North, Central, and East, and that we had Tennessee and Jacksonville in the old AFC Central, and we were like picked 5th, and we knew we were better than that, but we had to prove it. And this was an organization that hadn't had a winning season since its inception, so there was a lot of uphill proving that yes, we can do that. And the season itself, when we had the difficulties during the middle of the season, when we had the 3 or 4 game losing streak and hadn't scored an offensive touchdown the month of October, there was a lot to overcome, but we did, and that's really the number one message I think I was hoping that this young team could look at and say, look, you are in control of it, but you've got to be a pro. You've got to learn what it is to be a pro. And every aspect of it.
Coach Smith, you were on that staff. In your own words, what made that group of guys so special?
Oh, they were all great teammates, and I think that was probably the thing that stood out to me. They were good football players, but they were great teammates. They had one another's back at all times, and you had to have each other's back because that was a very rough season in terms of the things that Brian spoke about, and most teams would have split apart, and it was the way that they engaged one another, not only on the field, but off the field as well.
Coach Billick, you talked about one of the major themes was unity of the team, and you said a major factor in that was having good leaders. So for guys who are wanting to step in that leadership role, what advice do you have for them?
Well, you've got to be consistent, and it's got to be the right motivation. You've got to be doing it for the right reason. We did have, I've always said that team had a lot of characters, but it also had a lot of character. And the leadership we got from guys like Ray Lewis, Rod Woodson on the back end, Rob Burnett on the defensive line, Tony Saragusa in the middle, Shannon Sharp and Trent Dilfer and Jonathan Ogden. We had key veteran guys that understood what it took. And more importantly, the young guys were willing to listen. It's one thing to have leadership and guys that are, okay, follow me and do this, and this is the way we do things. But you've got to have a group that will follow as well. And that's what Mike was alluding to, that the younger players really bought into the Raven way that these guys had established. And so that's what got us through the tough times. And then once we did and came out of that difficulty, having survived it and stuck together, that's what really where our strength came from, because you had a sense of invincibility of, okay, you throw whatever you want at us during the game, during the week, whatever. We've been there, and we didn't blink. We didn't turn on one another. So we knew we weren't going to do that, and we really derived a lot of strength from that.
That perseverance, determination, all of that goes into character, and I know that's a big thing that you guys look for in college players when evaluating them for the NFL. So when you come and visit campuses, Coach Smith, what are some questions that you ask, and who are you talking to try to get a sense of these guys off of the field?
Well, I think you want to talk to their position coach, the head coach, the trainer, the video guys, the people that come in contact, the support staff. You want to get a good feel, especially if he's a guy that you're really thinking you're gonna bring into your team and draft. So you got to touch all of them, and it's a in-depth process that we go through in the National Football League in terms of how we're gonna find out if this guy's a fit, because you want him to be a fit, and it takes it takes a lot of work, and there's a lot of people that are involved in that process.
One of the points I wanted to make yesterday to the guys was as well that doing that and being a good teammate, being a pro, on a team like this that, like most of these guys will not go into the NFL. That's just the fact of the game. There's only a small percentage that do. But the lessons they can learn and the attributes that character that you're talking about, that they can then take into corporate America. Mike and I do a lot of corporate speaking, and corporate America is dying for people like that, dying for that young talent, of having young people that can come into the organization that have been battle tested, have had the tough times, have gotten knocked down and had to get up, have faced the difficulties both on and off the field. Corporate America is loving those kind of young people, and that's something that they can derive from this experience here at Arizona, whether they go on into the NFL or not.
And speaking of that, you guys speak at different corporations. You've coached at the college level, obviously coached in the NFL. So what does being back here, speaking to a college program, mean to you?
Well, it's just the young people, being around the young talent. Mike and I coach the Hula Bowl each year as well, and we're the head coaches of the opposite teams, and it's been great, because that's the thing, at least for me, having been out of it for a while, the thing you miss the most is being around the players, and particularly being around these young players, because they are ready to be molded. They want to learn, they want to listen, they want to know, how do I get better? And to be around that energy and to see that want in them, it's great to be around it.
Coach Smith, would you say the same? Just that energy?
Yeah, the energy. I'll say this about 1 week of the Hula Bowl is enough, though. I don't have the energy to keep up with these guys. They're going in so many different directions now. It's a whole different, it's a whole different game, and they energize me and Coach Billick to get out there and get coaching them up, and that's the fun part of it for us, is to get out and be around these young guys again.
And final question, I know you have known Coach Fish for almost 20 years now.
Gosh, yeah.
He coached on the Ravens earlier in his career, so I know you have so many good stories. Could you share one?
Oh my gosh. I've told people, the thing I always appreciated about from Jed is that his energy, obviously his knowledge, but his energy and passion for what he does. I was only half joking when anytime he would come in and he'd say, Coach, I think we need to look at doing this, putting this route at a different depth, or let's run this or run that. And I'd kind of, I'd know to push back and go, well, I don't know how many people are doing that, and I'm not sure that that's something we really want to do. And I knew the minute I did that, if I came in the next morning, there'd be 150 video clips on my computer that he probably spent all night salvaging through to, okay, well, I'm going to show him that what I'm advocating. But that was Jed. He's a grinder, but he's very passionate about what he does. He has very strong convictions about what he does, and he's gonna show you that if this is something we need to do, so, which you love as a coach, because you love that energy and the fact that he is so passionate about it, and he's just an outstanding coach.
He is, and we're glad to have him. Thank you guys so much for taking time to speak with us today, and enjoy the Coaches Clinic this weekend.
We'll do it.
We are looking forward to it.